Yeah, no, no, no.
Yeah, niggas, bro, lost, bro. Hell nah, bro. I don't fuck with no shit like this, bro. That ain't it. You know what I'm saying? I'm staying on that. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man, too. I put a name. If y'all made it to the end of this video, or check out this video to the left, or check out my music to the right. Y'all just drop some little shit.
Okay, let's head back to it. I'm gonna finish with TYP. He's doing good. I like the way that he's going about his content.
Grandmother, because of the amount of children she had.
Okay, so
My
back.
grandmother had 9 children. My father and 8 more. They all had a bunch of kids, blah, blah, blah. I stood there and looked at my 93-year-old grandmother, and there was a room, a whole room full with maybe 70 people that came from that one woman. Isn't that remarkable? That nobody cared about her career. Nobody asked what job she did. Nobody asked how many times she went to the club. Nobody asked if she had time to go to festivals. No. You had 70 sentient beings, including myself, full of life from one woman who dedicated herself to being a mother and a good wife. That is beautiful. I talk about how women are unique and special, and they can do things that men can't do. And still these clips are taken out of context. Let me give you an example. I absolutely not really love women. I have nothing against women. I believe women are the most precious things on the planet. They create life. They should be protected. They should be provided for. I would never let a woman pay for a bill. I would never let a woman, if someone touched any of my women, I would stand up against 10 men by myself and risk my life to protect her. I believe that women are beautiful creatures. I just don't think that they're as emotionally calm as men in stressful situations. I don't think they can fight like a man can. And for the same reason, I would never drop my children in an all-male nursery. I think that's strange and weird. I would only drop them in an all-female nursery. Women do certain things and men do certain things. Now, I believe everything I said. I believe in protecting women. I believe in championing women. I believe in making sure that women are provided for. However, that video was made when I was far less famous. In light of the things I just said to you earlier in this video, I understand that now, as my fame grows, even though to me my message is very clear, a man has certain roles in society, a woman has certain roles in society, and when we work as a team, when we love each other, society is better as a whole. I think that these views are not very controversial at all. I think they were mainstream only a few years ago. I don't think that they're controversial. Most of the people I meet in the world don't think they're controversial. The women I hang around with don't think they're controversial. Nobody on the street I've ever met thinks they're controversial. Everybody agrees with me. However, the way I'm saying it, the way I'm getting the message across, because I'm trying to be as energetic as possible, I understand that a small, tiny percentage of people might misunderstand. And that didn't matter when I didn't have any views. I didn't have any followers. But now I'm the most famous man in the world. I have to be a lot more careful with how I say it. But what's really worrying is this. That clip, I would like to think, even my biggest haters can agree, is a clip that is positive about women as a whole. Perhaps you may not like my tonality or the way I structured certain sentences, but as a whole, I'm saying positive things about women. At one point during that speech, I said women do certain things and men do certain things. That clip has been taken, that cut of my language, men do certain things, women do certain things. Somebody, I have no idea who, has made a TikTok where it says men do certain things, and it shows videos of me driving around in cars, spending money, and women do certain things, and it shows women cleaning. Women do certain things, and men do certain things. Somebody off their own
That's kind of funny.
somebody else has made that video.
Yeah.
I didn't tell them to. I don't know who they are. I don't know what their account is. It's just viral on the internet somewhere. And now I look like I'm saying women should only clean and men should only run around with cars and women and money. I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. I said that women should be protected and provided for. But because a small clip was taken out of context and used against me and weaponized, now I look like I've said things I did not say. And no matter how positive my message about women, if the intention is to try and make me look bad, even with a...
Just try to listen to that, take it in at face value, kind of, after that video. Because it's hard to hide emotion when it comes to impromptu videos, like it's that Sean Connery thing. Sometimes you gotta give him a little smack. So distasteful, so ill-timed,
clip like that, they found a way to make me look bad. That's the scary thing. That's why I've titled this video My Final Message, because I don't know even with my entire brain, I don't know, with all of my genius intellect, if I can find a way for nothing to be used against me. It's extremely difficult. One line out of context has made me look bad, and millions of people saw that, and people didn't see the long format video, and they've deduced that I hate women and that women should only clean, when really I was trying to stick up for and protect women and give my true views on women. And this comes full circle to the Instagram ban. I am very understanding of why Instagram felt like it was necessary to ban me. I am not mad at Instagram. I'm a professional, and as a professional, I'm not an emotional person. I do not do emotional responses. Although I believe it's unfair, although I believe I've been unfairly vilified, although I believe it's not the right thing to do because it doesn't allow me to shift the public consciousness in a constructive manner, although I think it would have been better for them to say, Andrew, certain things are being taken out of context, you need to be careful that doesn't happen, a lot of people listen to you, and I could have become a champion for women's rights. I am not emotional. I understand why they did it, because that's a perfect example of how people are desperate to try and make the things I say look worse than they are, and using social media platforms to purport negative views of women. And it doesn't matter if it's a negative view of a woman, negative view of men, negative view of a sexuality. It doesn't matter what it is. It should be stopped. I agree with that. And Instagram or Meta have a responsibility to show that they are listening to the public. They want to show that they're listening. I have some good people on the case, and dialogue with Instagram I would like to open, and will proceed as God sees fit. If God believes that I do not need an Instagram page, then I will not have one. If God believes that I do, then I shall. This is not just about Instagram. This is just me saying to Instagram that I totally understand. I just wanted to make it clear that I didn't want these things to be said. That clip of the cleaning and me being taken out of context has no benefit for me. Everyone dislikes me on the internet. Certain people watch it and know it's not true, the ones who've watched the longer format.
Yeah, honestly, he makes a good point. Like, honestly, he's not trying to openly make things acceptable like that anymore. It is incredibly distasteful, and it is against the social norm at this point to accept images and ideas associated with that slanderous piece. It's pretty obvious that that is not Andrew Tate. It's just somebody else's social media content.
Videos, and they're fans of mine. Fine. So certain people remain neutral because they know it's false. But people who don't then dislike it. My family gets death threats. I get death threats. Hate is spread online. Like, there's no benefit for me. If I could stop that happening, I absolutely would. Which is why I want to adjust my messaging and adjust the way I talk. I don't want that to happen. That doesn't help me. I would love for that to never happen. And Instagram think the way for that to stop happening is to ban me. I agree it should stop happening, but I don't think banning me is the answer. Because there will always be someone else. And there will be a new hate mob and new out of context videos. And this is a problem which is larger than Andrew Tate. This is an internet problem. This is a problem with short format video, short attention spans, nobody looking into anything in detail, things taken out of context. This is a really big problem that the world has to address that goes beyond me. And if I've had to martyr my presence on social media to raise a conversation, which is going to be a net benefit for the world as a whole, then I'm happy with that. I'm happy if people go, you know what, this happened to Andrew Tate, it's now happening to other people. We have to change the way we review censorship, banning, content creation, content proportion, all these things. That's fine, if that's the life path which has been chosen for me. I just want to make it clear that I don't like when that happens. I don't want that to happen myself because I don't gain anything from that. On Instagram, absolutely no rules were broken. My captions were just poetry that I wrote. My pictures were just lifestyle. Car, house, boat. I never broke any rules on Instagram. I never had any strikes. I never done anything wrong on Instagram. The only rule infringements on Instagram were my comment section, where hate mobs inspired by these videos that we've been discussing, these videos which were deliberately taken out of context and deliberately fictional. Hate mobs were inspired at the end of YouTube videos to go to my Instagram.
But you're not being completely honest and upfront because you're not showing the video where you make contact with that woman's face. There is no open communication because it is very visceral and it is very, very real. It is hard to say that it is anything other than that. You would have to delicately describe the situation. Okay, because the video that I just watched and that everybody else is going to see, that thing was visceral. It had to be blocked out. It was so incredibly shocking that something like that happened. Now, I do understand that there are minorities out there, small groups of social in society, that people do engage in activities like that. You know, like 50 Shades of Grey is a pretty good example of that. You know, it does exist. We do have a video of consent of a girl that isn't even with him anymore. So she has no connection to him in any sort of way, according to her statement, the person who was slapped. So it'll be interesting what happens next.
Instagram and insult me. So the only infringements you would find on Instagram is in my comment section, where thousands of people who were sent by random YouTubers who don't like me would come, threaten to kill me, mock my dead father, threaten to kill my brother, threaten to kill my family, threaten to find me. These were the only rule infringements on Instagram. Things written against me by other YouTubers, telling them to go and do it, while all I wrote is poetry. And on repeat, multiple times I said on my stories, if you're going to defend me, do it respectfully. Even if people hate me, even if they're insulting me, don't insult them back. Hate doesn't beat hate. It just creates a brick wall. If somebody says they hate me, explain to them calmly that they don't understand the context. Show them a longer format video. Show them how I stick up for marginalized people. Explain I'm a person of color and I've been marginalized in my childhood. Show them how I had a gay friend when I was a kid. Show them how I stick up for women. Don't just reply saying you're stupid, you don't know the truth. Don't fight hate with hate. I was encouraging all of my followers, all of my fans to be respectful people, even when sticking up for me. Once again, trying to turn negativity into positivity via social media. My Instagram had no infringements. That was the only anti-policy things on the page, things targeted against me. And I didn't really complain to Instagram because I wasn't taught as a person to go complaining to authority. I thought, this is the internet. That's how it works. Just ignore it. Don't worry about it. Soon the truth of your heart and your character will come through. Soon people will see the light and they'll change, because that's the way the world is. People often flip-flop on issues. This is how things happen. The redemption arc is going to be beautiful. I really truly believe that within a few years, people are going to understand that I'm a force for good in the world. And
I did say it would take a few years.
People say, well, don't have Tate as a male role model. There's better ones. Where are they? There are no other male role models. Because to inspire the youth of men, you need to be aspirational. They have to look at you and want to be like you. And there's no other male role models that have had the tenacity or the aggressiveness to have such a fantastic life as I have, that they're going to listen to me. They listen to me because of my authority, and my authority comes from my life experiences. If my mentality is so wrong, how have I managed to amass enormous wealth? How have I managed to amass huge social status? How have I managed to physically dominate the planet? I've done things that men respect and they look up to me. So that's why I can lead them. And I understand my messaging should change in light of the fact that I can be taken out of context. But me being alive on the internet will allow me to lead men in a very positive direction. Banning me and deleting me leaves a black hole where they say there'll be another masculine leader. But the men don't listen. The youth of today won't listen to anybody else. That's the reason I'm the most famous man on the planet, because none of these other people have the authority to affect them like I do. It's me or nobody. And I truly believe that me, with reformed messaging, now understanding of my newfound fame, is so much better for the world than nobody. Because nobody just leads to black holes of who knows what, and it can't be controlled. And that's where the internet is truly dangerous. Speaking of Instagram, I was understanding in recent weeks of how these negative fictional stories of me were gaining traction. And I wanted to try very, very hard to counter them. I put a post on Instagram, which you can see here, where I explained that the things I've said have been taken out of context. And just because I champion men's rights does not mean I dislike women. I think that men are underrepresented in the world today. And as people often say, men need to speak up. I'm here speaking for the men. I'm here trying to speak up. People are speaking up because of me. We're raising important issues in the world today because of me. Deleting me and blocking me is only going to hurt men as a whole and increase all the problems we see with the youth of the men today. So I put a post up and I said, listen, people misunderstand me. I'm going to donate money to a female charity that supports women against domestic violence, and I'm also going to donate money to a charity that supports men's mental health. Just because I support men doesn't mean I hate women. I love people. I'm a person full of love, and I want people as a whole to elevate, not just men or women. I promised $1 to each charity for every like. That's $2 per like total, $1 to each charity. At the time of my banning, I had 550,000 likes or something like that, I believe. And if I hear from Instagram, what I would like them to do is to clarify the final likes amount on that post so that I can stick to my word, because that's what I am. I'm a man of my word. I was not doing it purely just to post the receipt on social media. I was doing it because I genuinely believe it's a good thing to do. And I would like Instagram to confirm the final amount of likes on that picture so I can donate the $1.2, $1.3 million that I promised I would donate to both of those charities independently. I would even be happy for Instagram to select the two charities and confirm and verify my donation. I'd be very happy to do that because I said I was going to do that. And I'm a man of my word. I stick to my word. What's interesting to me is when I put that post up, if anybody else had promised to do that, there'd be massive positive attention. But everybody ignored it. Nobody in the media wanted to post about it. None of the YouTubers wanted to talk about it. Nobody wanted to talk about it because it doesn't get clicks.
Money, paying money, a small portion of your fortune that, arguably you have a lot of. You have a lot of money there, Andrew. Okay. A lot. 1.2 million is not a lot to you. Okay. Just kind of throw that out there. It is a lot of money, but not to you.
You only get clicks for hating me. You don't get clicks for telling the truth about me. So nobody's interested in telling the truth. Everybody ignored my charitable donations. If anybody else donated $1.3 million to charity, I'd like to think there'd be some sort of headline. But if I want to do it, nobody cares. And that's very, very unfair. What's also unfair is the people who say that they care about women and they're worried about misogyny and using this to attack me and try and have me deleted from the internet, they don't donate any money to charity. They don't help women. They don't want to do anything but spread hate. Right now they hate Andrew Tate. When I'm gone, they'll hate someone else. They'll find someone else's comment section to go into, insult, threaten their lives, insult their dead parents, hate, 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 hate. They're not going to donate money to charity. They're not going to help women. They're just going to sit there and hate me until I'm gone and then hate somebody else. This is a hate mob, and they're pretending that they care about women. They don't care about anybody. They're just hateful. And by Instagram allowing the hate mob to be successful, it inspires further hate mobs. It inspires further hate, further division. I understand that Instagram and Meta and Facebook need to, as a whole, keep their fingers on the pulse of the national opinions. I understand that. But once we have confirmed that the national opinion is misunderstood, then we have to sit there and go, do we want to bow to hate mobs, which are accelerating and encouraging people to become more hateful for views and to get people banned via hate? When these people may be actually doing good things to the real issue as a whole, is this a good idea for us to now bow and bend to these people? And this is a really interesting conversation which can be had for many, many hours about the internet, about society, about sociology, about psychology, about so many things. It spans in so many different directions. It's actually very, very interesting. It's an interesting conversation to have because we're living in an unprecedented time of humanity where the world is so connected and we're all kind of unprepared for it. Right? It's very, very interesting. I find it super interesting. It's something I've been talking about internally and I would love to talk about more in person. And when I decide to finally come back to public consciousness and do podcasts and that kind of thing, it's something we will be talking about because it's a very, very interesting subject. I'm teaching that it takes tenacity and toughness to become a credible man of merit and value. I think even my hardcore detractors would agree with me. If you're in trouble and you call the police, you want a tenacious, tough man to appear to help you, to protect you. There's nothing wrong with being a tenacious, ambitious, tough man. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with strength, mental and physical. These things are used to protect people, protect men and women. This is a protective state. You can't protect anything if you're not strong. Strength is a beautiful thing. The world is built on the backs of strong men, and I'm trying to teach men to be strong men because it makes the men feel happier inside, it solves men's mental health, and it also makes the world a genuinely better place. People are taking my lessons and me trying to teach strength and misconstruing them, saying that I'm trying to teach men to be oppressive or aggressive. That's absolutely not the case.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they're ignoring my charitable donations to the world. And at the same time, other media creators are rewarded for purporting lies and spinning lies about me. And then at the same time, the media buys into this. And at the same time, we're in the current situation where this entire storm has appeared, where I've genuinely only been a net positive on the world for anyone who's watched my content in all of this long form. When Instagram tells me and confirms to me the number of likes on that post, I'm going to make the donation. As well as that, the future for me, now that I will be a lot more careful and a lot more selective with the social media I'll be producing, if any at all, is I'm going to be starting a foundation, the Tate Foundation, which is going to be dedicated towards charitable acts of both genders. I have been very, very private about certain elements of my personal life, as has my brother. However, my brother has a daughter, and she's beautiful. She's my niece. I don't want her to grow up in a world where women are hated. I don't want her to grow up in a world where men are oppressive and hurting women. Why would I possibly want that? I want her to find a strong man who can protect her, who can provide for her, who can make sure she's safe, but I don't want anything bad to ever happen to her. My own personal circumstances regarding family are something that are once again confidential, but I can confirm to you that the last thing I would ever want is for women to be marginalized in the future, for genuine misogyny or sexism to take hold on the planet. I would completely and utterly be very unhappy with that for my own personal reasons. The Tate Foundation is going to be dedicated towards helping men's mental health and also protecting women from violence against men. You're going to see in the upcoming months and years that I'm not somebody who's doing this just for likes or doing this just for views, that I'm somebody who's doing this because he genuinely has the capability to help people. And I believed I was helping people via social media, and if that's going to be taken away from me, then I will continue my philanthropy in other realms. Please, if you want to have more information, you can go to cobratate.com, sign up to the emailing list, and my emailing list is going to start detailing all of my charitable acts from here on out. I'll be spending millions and millions of dollars on charitable acts for the rest of my human life. God has blessed me with fantastic wealth. It's more money than I will ever personally need. I already was doing my philanthropy through encouraging men. And if that's going to be destroyed, then I've decided to start the Tate Foundation and specifically help with financial aid, women, protection from violence primarily. I'm in Romania, which is very close to Ukraine, and there's a lot of problems there with violence against women and women trying to escape the country, and men's mental health issues. And this will all be detailed on my newsletter at cobratate.com, and I encourage people to follow. My other charitable acts are things that I haven't really advertised or talked about. I always felt a bit embarrassed to tell people about the charity I do, because when I do charity, I think it should be from the heart, not for likes.
Yeah, there shouldn't be an overwhelming, boisterous voice that you have about what you do. It can seem disingenuous and it'll lose its luster because of your boisterous verbiage that you use to describe all the wonderful things you do. Do things in humility. Allow the public to see, but don't dwell on it, and don't flaunt it or anything like that.
But I understand now that all of the media is saying I'm a bad guy, and I'm not even telling the world all the good I do, because I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think you should just give from the goodness of your heart, not for attention. But that's unfair for people to be saying I'm a bad person when I run a shelter for dogs in Romania because of the stray dog problem, because of the fact that I just recently rebuilt an entire orphanage because there's an orphanage problem in Romania. There'll be a plaque called the Tate Orphanage on this orphanage, and you can see here messages of thank yous from the children and the woman who's running it. I did this months ago before anybody disliked me. I didn't even tell anybody. I just rebuilt an orphanage and didn't use it for positive PR, didn't try and put it on the internet and get a good spin from it, didn't try to get likes.
It's kind of forced now.
I was just trying to help people. The fact
Definitely
that
forced
the
now.
only charitable act I've ever advertised was their Instagram post. So I find it very hypocritical when these hate mobs come and say I'm a bad person, when I'm the one who's out here spending his money and time trying to help the world, and all they're doing is telling their followers to insult me on my Instagram page. Which one of those two things has a genuinely positive effect on humanity? I'm genuinely not the bad person. However, I will state again, I do take absolute responsibility because that's who I am as a man. I'm a personal responsibility type of person. And I understand that regardless of the fact I believe it's unfair, I do have a cross to bear because of my monumental success.
I've lived an extreme life, more extreme than most. I've been a multimillionaire. I've been a nobody. I've been famous. I've been a world level athlete. I've started from nothing to the point where I had to run to the gym because I didn't even have a car to get there. I've done it all. So I've lived a very extreme life, and this is where these lessons come from.
To quickly address the rumors that I'm a sex trafficker and that's why I live in Romania, firstly, that's a very, very racist attitude to have. I find it strange that the left and people who speak and talk about tolerance and inclusivity will assume that Romania as a country will allow me to be a rapist, or that Romania is the kind of place where rape is okay. That's an extremely racist mentality to have. Imagine someone saying that the other way around, that in this country, because it's run by these people, they're inherently bad. That's very unfair on Romania. Romania's been very good to me. It's a great country filled with fantastic people, amazing nature, great food. It's a great place. I live here because I love it. There's no other reason why I live here. They're a European Union nation. They have a strong legal system, just like every other country. And to sit here and say that, oh, Romania is where you can rape people, that's very racist. And I don't understand why nobody is pointing out the fact that anyone who's saying that and believes that is purporting racial stereotypes. That's the first thing. The second thing is, my house was raided by police under accusations that a woman was being held kidnapped. I have spoke about this at length many, many times. I was effectively swatted. I think this happens to all famous people on the internet, where the police is called, happens especially in America. They call the police and say, somebody has got a gun at this address and he's threatening to kill somebody. And the SWAT turn up and it turns out it's fake. It happened to Tim Pool repeatedly, it happened to Aiden Ross just the other day. Being swatted is unfortunately one of the things that happens when you're famous on the internet.
Whatever troll did it, you did it. You officially did it.
Well, we got swatted yesterday. It's so upsetting.
Just right after my mom arrived.
I was swatted. Someone made a call about me, which was fake. The police responded, as they should. I would hate to live in a country where the police get a call that a woman's being held kidnapped and they don't bother going to look. That's not what a country should do. Absolutely, the Romanian authorities were exceptionally professional. I have nothing but positive things to say about them. They turned up professionally, turned up and investigated as they should. And they found out that it was completely false, that nobody was kidnapped, nobody was held against their will. I was not charged, I was not released on bail. I have no criminal charges in Romania, England, America, any country on the planet. I have no accusations against me for hurting them. And people are still on the internet saying, he's a human trafficker, the Romanian police are trying to get him in trouble for human trafficking. That's not true. That's not what happened. And I've said this many times.
Look into his eyes when he says that.
I have no accusations against me for hurting him. And people are still on the internet saying, he's a human trafficker, the Romanian police are trying to get him in trouble for human trafficking. That's not true. That's not what happened. And I've said this many times, but people continue to ignore it and continue to
take everything as information. Don't lead your life with it. Does that make sense?
A lie because it gets more clicks, or because they personally don't like
Be
me
impartial.
and use it as an excuse to pretend I'm a bad person. I can sit here and be vain and arrogant and say they're jealous of me and my success and they want to find a way to drag me down, but that's beside the point. The actual point is, it's not true. And I was swatted just like anyone else was. And if I had actually hurt anybody, the Romanian police would have me in jail because they are a nation, a European Union nation, with a strong legal system, and they would lock me up. They have not done that because I am completely and utterly innocent. They investigated as they should and came to the correct conclusion that there's nobody here and this was a false call, a false alarm. It happens to lots of famous people. It happens all the time. The person who made the call about me threw in, instead of saying, I kind of think and I analyzed it. The people who make these police calls, right? The people who do the swatting, it's kind of country specific. In America, they make a call to the police and they say, he has a gun, he has hostages. They can't really say that in Romania because it's very, very unlikely. It's not likely to be taken seriously. So instead, they try and find something the police might believe. Oh, he's an American guy and he has this big house and he has a bunch of women trapped. It's a different story, but it's the same intention, for the police to turn up with guns. And thankfully, thank God, nobody was shot, nobody was hurt. They were very professional, very calm, as was I. Very calm conversations, very kind. Everything was sorted out very quickly. I was taken from my house. They came into my house at 5 p.m. They did a forensic search, as they should. At 8 p.m., the search concluded. They took me from my house at 8 p.m. for paperwork at the police station, and by 9:21, I was back home. And that was the end of it. Nothing's happened since. No woman's come forward. Nobody's hurt. Nothing. So that's completely false. But
Yeah,
again,
believe
this is
that, I guess.
taken, it's put in all the news, it's put in all the media. Imagine I was a normal person with a normal job. This should be scary to anybody watching this, that this could happen to you. I'm lucky. I have hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't need a job. I don't need people to like me. I don't need social media. I don't need any of this. I can have my beautiful family. I can have my children. I can be left alone. But if you're a normal person, you lose your job. You lose your income. You can't walk the street. You can't afford security. You can't afford to move. If this happened to a normal person, their life would be over. It's scary. Okay, it's happened to me and I can deal with it, but it could happen to somebody else. And it's genuinely a scary thought. It's absolutely and utterly not true. I have no criminal charges. There's no charges at all against me. I have not hurt any women. No women are coming forward saying Andrew hit me. Zero. The only video of me and a woman in consensual acts, she came forward and said it was a game. There's nothing on the internet from any woman saying that Andrew is a bad person, a misogynist, he did this to me. Not one. It's just misunderstood clips on TikTok. It's crazy to me that I've become the face of evil with misunderstood.
It's because his behavior is incredibly unorthodox. Okay? It is hard to take something as visceral as that and have it be acceptable in society. It is incredibly hard to take that particular video of him making contact with a woman who have been the receivers of abuse from men. Like that's what the whole cultural dynamic, what the whole culture shift is about, is exactly that. And because you did it in the past, cancel culture is going to nail you to a cross.
Understood out of context clips on TikTok with no criminal charges. There are very famous people who have much more. They have genuine criminal charges. There's very famous people who have genuine accusations. They're still on Instagram. I have none of these things. None. I understand that social media companies feel responsible for the national consciousness and the national opinions and actions because of their large limits for views. However, I don't think it's fair that I'm being vilified and blamed for something that isn't true or wasn't even me. I need to seriously analyze if it's possible for me to even have a social media presence for any longer without it being weaponized and used against me. I would like to think that Instagram have their finger on the pulse of the world and that they're reactive and adaptive regarding how people view certain issues and people. I'd like to think that they're very fair and unbiased and that they understand that in time when the truth is shown about my positivity and my positive impact on the world, the Tate Foundation, all the amazing things we're going to be doing for men and women, over time they'll understand that there's no reason for me to not be on the platform. I understand that if I'm going to continue on social media, I need to be a lot more careful with my content. Not because I'm saying bad things, but because I'm saying things that could be used against me. I want to dedicate this YouTube channel, any other remaining social medias I have, my email list, and my Instagram at some point in the future, to the Tate Foundation and speak purely about the positivity I'm doing for the world. Because in the meantime, and at least for the next few months or years, it's going to be very difficult to talk bad about me when people only see the money I'm donating and how I'm helping people. And I don't just give money in a very lazy, charitable way. I get out in my car, I go on the ground. I help people myself.
I drove my Rolls Royce to Ukraine. I bought hundreds of coats and shoes for women and children fleeing the conflict. I didn't film the refugees. I hate when people do that.
So we'll be documenting that. I think this is a good way for people to start to learn about the truth. I'm really relieved this happened. I feel good. I feel happy. I don't think I could have got everybody's attention without this. I don't think I would have had a chance to make a clean break and a clean start and explain the truth of my character and my heart without this. I think that if I was never banned, I would have keep trying to tell the truth, and my haters would have kept ignoring it and kept making negative videos about me, and it would have spiraled out of control until someone in my family was hurt or an attempt was made on my life. Any of my serious fans who have watched all my content know that I've had attempts on my life before, way before you two, 10 or 15 years ago. It's something I intimately understand, life and death. And it's not something I wish to revisit. I feel the hate around me was being accelerated to a point of danger for myself and my loved ones. So I'm very glad this happened because I feel like I now have a chance to tell the truth. And I also feel like the social media companies are very understanding of their responsibilities and will always reflect national consciousness. And as people understand the truth about me and my heart, their opinions about me will change also. You know, the Bible is full of redemption stories. So are superhero movies, right? The guy starts off bad and then turns good. Or the guy that you think is a bad guy turns out to be a good guy with good intentions all along. He was just misunderstood. I feel like the human psyche is very intrinsically understanding of these narratives and stories.
Yeah.
I think people understand a redemption arc. They can understand when they retrospectively look back on certain events or actions or words, and with their new understanding of his actual intentions, everything looks different. They look back and go, oh, now I know who he truly is. I understand what he meant by that. Now I know who he truly is. I understand why that was said. And everything changes. I truly believe that this is a chance for me to move my social media purely to my charitable acts. Even if my Instagram is reinstated, it's only going to be about the Tate Foundation. There'll be no pictures of Bugattis anymore. Sorry, gentlemen. And it allows me to conduct my philanthropy in the physical world as opposed to so much in the digital world trying to inspire men. It's an avenue change, it's a life path change that God has chosen for me. And I'm happy with that. I really am not the type of person to take these things personally. I don't take any of these decisions personally. I'm a very logical man. I'm very good at seeing both sides of the argument. I understand the situation I'm in intimately. I completely understand all points of view. And this redemption arc, this chance to tell the world the truth about me and focus on showing the good that I have already been doing before these bans, when I didn't want likes, when I didn't want clicks, and also undoing all the negative narratives which I've allowed to spiral out of control because I trusted in people to do their own research and come to their own truthful conclusions. I realize now that this is a fantastic chance for me. It's a massive opportunity. I'm still going to tell the truth about who I am, about what I believe, about how I believe a man should act. I'm still going to tell people and inspire people to stay away from low-quality people.
If you're struggling to find quality men to be friends with, maybe you're not a quality man. Every relationship in the world, including friendships, are mutual. Because if you're a quality person, you meet quality people. Male and female, that's how it goes.
I never would only talk negatively about women. I talk negatively about men all the time. I told people, don't have friends who just smoke drugs and play video games. You need friends who are going to inspire you to push yourself to be the best man you can. I'm a massive anti-drug advocate. The worst experiences in my life revolved around other people either taking or selling drugs and trying to hurt me because of it. I've never taken drugs in my life. I've never even tried cocaine, never tried a single smoke of weed in my life ever. I'm massively anti-drugs. But when I do videos saying to men, avoid men who take drugs, avoid men who are disloyal. Nobody comments on it. But if I say avoid having a girlfriend who takes drugs, avoid having a girlfriend who's disloyal, people call me a misogynist. It's not about gender. I'm just trying to teach people to stay away from low-quality, toxic people and just try and elevate themselves and create their reality to be around high-quality and positive people, male or female. There's no gender associated. It's only the fact that the media, these people chopping my videos up, whoever they are, taking it out of context and only focusing on the times women were mentioned, which is a very small percentage, 2 or 3% of my overall content, and ignoring all the time I said the exact same thing about men, or the times I loved women, and purporting this view. And I feel like this ban is the hard reset I needed to tell the truth. So for that, I'm thankful. I'm very, very thankful for it. What's next for Top G? Well, as I've said, I have built my dream life. I have everything I've ever wanted. I've done that with the tenets that I've been teaching the people who follow me. I've been teaching you the mental fortitude you need to truly have your dream. I was talking to Aiden Ross on his stream and said, have you completed the game? And I guess maybe I have.
Nope. You have redemption.
No, I've hacked the Matrix and completely beaten the games. I have everything I've ever wanted.
Nope, you gotta go through redemption. Everybody's gotta go through redemption in some form before we die. There's always redemption.
I don't need anything else.
Mm-hmm.
All that's left for me to do is have a positive impact on the world. I don't think anybody truly wants to go down as a villain. Maybe some people do. I don't. I wasn't raised that way. I was raised to stick up for myself, to be strong, to be commanding, but I was raised to do the right thing. And that's why, as I stated, I have no criminal record. I stay away from drugs. There's a lot of people on social medias with large criminal records who advocate drug use. I think that's far more dangerous for society than me. And once again, they have absolute exposure to the world. I want to run the Tate Foundation, and I would love to do it without any social media. I will be detailing on my email list all of my charitable donations, all of the orphanages I'll be building, pictures, financial evidence, receipts. Please go to corporatate.com and sign up to the newsletter. It's free, and I'll be letting people know the positive impact I'm going to be having on the world. The fame I've amassed has also managed to help me amass hundreds of millions of dollars, and I don't need all of it. So I'm going to use it for positive causes.
Good.
In regards to social media, I need to sit and think and work out a way that not a single snippet of my words can ever be used against me. And even though I consider myself a wordsmith, that is a very, very difficult objective to complete. And I'm going to think about how I could possibly do that. So while I'm thinking, any remaining social media channels will be dedicated towards charity. If I start a new Instagram, it's only going to be dedicated towards the charitable side of the Tate Foundation. I hold no ill will against any social media platforms. I hold no ill will against any of the people who hate me or who have tried to spread lies about me. I truly pray for you all. I think that to be a person filled with so much hate that you think making videos insulting a man and encouraging your viewers to go and insult him and his deceased father and his family members, I think that is a horrible way to live. I would never want to experience that level of hate in my heart. The people who are making endless videos celebrating my ban or talking hate about me, that hate is never going to satisfy you. You need to learn to let go and live with a heart filled with love. You need to be content with yourself, because if you're obsessed with trying to hate on another person, the poison's inside of you, it's not inside of me. It doesn't affect me as much as it affects you. You can't feel hatred for somebody without it affecting your mood. So this is something for you guys to address, and I genuinely pray for you. I have no ill will against any of my haters. I have no ill will against any social media companies. I have no ill will against anybody. To follow me and keep up with me, please sign up to the newsletter on CobraTake.com. Anybody who would like to send me a message of support, I've already had hundreds of thousands already. Thank you guys so much. It's very reassuring to me in times like this to hear from all of you, letting me know that I saved you from depression. I helped you feel better about yourselves. I'm the reason your marriage is working. I inspired you to send your son to the gym. I love hearing these things. And you can send me an email at the email address below, tate@copentate.com. Please send it to me. I really love hearing these things. And knowing I had such a positive impact on the world is what's allowed me to ignore so much of this hate storm that's been reported. My social media presence is something that, if it remains, will be curated in a way that it's nearly impossible to be seen as a negative for the world. I'm a force for positivity and I'm a force for truth. This is the truth of my nature and the truth of my name. Anybody who wants comment or to reach out to me, you can find ways to do that. Any media organizations who would like to speak to me, you can do that through, there's various PR companies who want to represent me, ways of contacting me. But I just want the world to know in my final statement that if you're a supporter of mine, and I know most of you are, please explain the truth and respect from that. Telling these hate-filled people that they're wrong and calling them names won't help. These people are not happy people, because happy people don't act that way. Tell them the truth. Show them that the content is out of context. Show them the long format content. Say all the ways I've helped you. And I really believe by being a genuinely professional, logical, positive person, you guys can change public consciousness for me. And time is a beautiful thing. It's amazing how things change with time. And in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my fantastic life, which I've managed to build with all of the tenacity and mental strength that I try and teach my fans. You know how to reach me. And I'll finish with a quote from my late father. My unmatched perspicacity, coupled with sheer indefatigability, makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor.
Are you trying to keep up being like as viral as you are forever? Or not forever, but like for...
This is stage one of a 3-step plan. So I'm going to be viral for a little bit longer, then step 2 begins. The conquest is continuing.
So this is just the beginning. Because like a lot of people
are
are saying like you're going to fall off soon. This is just your 15 minutes.
No problem.
What's your take on that?
That's fine.
There's that insidious kind of intensity right there at the end, man.
Feared opponent. That's a cool ass quote. That's a movie, like an action hero quote. My dad's dope, but my dad, I don't remember any like bomb drop movie quotes like that.
Are you trying to keep up being like as viral as you are forever? Or not forever, but like for...
This is...
Yo, shut in there, party. I'm gonna hold you to that.
So, final thoughts. It's clear he understands the amount of shit that he's in. He probably didn't expect it to go this direction. Maybe he did. Maybe he knew. Maybe it's not as bad as what he says it is. I know that he's not afraid of anybody, acting on any sort of threat that they may have made towards Andrew Tate or his family, or people that he cares about in a great way. It's kind of just, just take in all the information. It's there. You don't have to use it to develop a opinion on the matter. You can just take it as information, and then as more information comes out, as time goes on, you can make a more clear and thought through opinion about the matter. So it does seem he knows how to be sincere. The only comparison I can make to the two things now that I find incredibly shocking about what Andrew Tate believes is, the video of him slapping and making contact with a woman. I have seen 50 Shades of Grey, and there is an almost direct correlation to that, where the female and protagonist in that movie does receive physical abuse of some kind, and she does have an emotional reaction to it, which the female in Andrew Tate's video did as well. It is hard to develop a understanding about Andrew Tate's character based upon that, because, as I said earlier, it is uncommon, very uncommon, to behave in that sort of way. There are very few women out there who want to be treated in that sort of manner. So it is hard to develop a clear, concise opinion about Andrew Tate's character. I do conclude with him on this matter, that once you have reached the top of the financial hierarchy, there is very little for you to do. You could do one of two things: philanthropy or manipulate and gain power. It seems that Andrew is leaning to the latter, philanthropy, which is exactly what I want to do. I want philanthropy. Okay, I know that there is a great deal of injustice, people who suffer, people who don't have answers, people who are seeking justice. There is a severe amount of evil that is happening on this earth, and I want to be a force for good in the very, very same way Andrew Tate said that he wanted to. Not, flaunt wealth, create clout, or really any sort of, disingenuous characteristic. I don't want any of that. I was raised in a way that you better yourself, and then you help the other. Okay? It is so important that we help one another, and that we dissuade lies, promote equality, and give everybody opportunity, and help those who struggle, especially with mental illness. I feel like, I've said this in the past, that I'm on the upward turn when it comes to mental health. Dealing with my diet and creating a healthy environment for myself, and motivating everybody around me to reciprocate positivity in order to help me grow to be the man I want to be. And that's what everybody needs. That's what every single person needs. I even helped my sister through it. She's on the upturn now. She's now making more money. She's now being more social. She's now seeking more social attention. At first, she was really, really quiet. She really struggled, and I was worried about her for a long time. But just providing a positive and optimistic support system for her is what turned her around, and she achieved a certificate. She became something. She was nothing before. Struggled all her life, just like me. And that's what we all need, because we're all suffering. Something has happened to us, something traumatic, something indescribably awful that is preventing us from achieving the people we should be. Sorry, I got indigestion. But yeah, I'm gonna hold Andrew Tate to the person he said he would be. No more flaunting his wealth, his money, in order to create clout. He has 100,000 subscribers to his war room, $50 a month. That's $5 million a month. So, I certainly hope he donates a substantial amount of that as he said he did. He's like, I'm making hundreds of millions at this point, and I don't need all of it. And that is really, really hopeful and inspiring to hear. So we hope that he follows through with it. I have nothing. I have very, very, very little. Everything you see behind me is free or incredibly marked down. But, you know, I am very fortunate and I am grateful for where I am. I would like to find myself in a situation where I could help others in a really sincere and very, very intense kind of a way. So here's to the future. I'm going to leave you all with all these thoughts and opinions, and I hope that, you know, you'll be safe in these trying times. And I'm going to go to bed because it is 3 o'clock and I have work in the morning. Peace out, everybody. Good night.